So as some of you may know, the word piano stands for soft, which means soft sound, low dynamics, not very loud. And this music instrument used to be called pianoforte. Forte is the Italian word for mean loud. Okay, so interesting. Why is this musical instrument called pianoforte? Well, that is because before the pianoforte was invented, people had harpsichord. Of course, people already had violins and cellos and all those string instruments. People also had woodwind instruments, and so. But when it comes to this kind of keyboard instrument, there was harpsichord. Harpsichord is the sound from on the harpsichord is generating by these things that go up and down. That as you press the key, it moves these plucks that go up and down and plucks each individual strings, and that's how you make the sound on a harpsichord. Now that has a little bit of problem, because while it's very pleasant to hear the sound of a harpsichord, and I do hope that you have a chance to enjoy, just go search for harpsichord and listen to it. But there is also something very interesting about the harpsichord, and that is no matter how you strike it, no matter how hard you press the thing, it's still going to, the pick that picks those strings are still going to hit it exactly at the same velocity, exactly the same rate, and it's still going to produce basically the same sound. Now, to get a bigger sound out of a harpsichord, I suppose one can hit it many, many, many times so it can generate a bigger sound. But in general, a harpsichord is not a pianoforte in the sense that you can have individual control of the key. Comes this pianoforte. Very interesting. So, how interesting? Well, like I said, 10 fingers, 88 keys, and one can depends on how fast you strike the key, you can create a loud sound or a soft sound. For example, that's pretty loud, or you can go, that's a soft sound, right? So, depends on how well you control your fingers to strike the key and what velocity you strike the key, you can create a forte sound or a piano sound. Very interesting. Or is it interesting to you? Well, today I want to show you something, and that has to do with just using my piece called Träumerei by Robert Schumann that that I played on a separate recording, okay? And if you had listened to that recording of mine, you would have noticed that I actually did not play it very well. Why? It's because I had trouble playing the piano portion to play the soft part. I wasn't always successful, and I'm going to show you. For example, the opening note, okay? Well, let's listen to that again. Do you like that? Which note should be loud? Which note should be soft? Well, as a pianist, one has to make an executive decision, all right? So the melody is, all right, that's where it's going, right? And there's the support. Let me do it again. I didn't like that. That is much better. Did you hear that? So what I was trying to go for is that this is loud. This is absolutely my loudest, just for these 3 beats, okay? This is where I'm going for the loud sound. Soft, loud. And this thing is meant to be just soft. So you can see that from just these three, I'm not even very far along in this piece, but I am already having to very consciously deciding on what to do, which note should be loud, which note should be soft, and how do I execute it. Now, in general, of course, the one, the melody should be loud, right? Where's the melody? Okay, so that is the melody, it's going there. So everything else is supporting characters. It's not the main characters. Just like if you are like on a stage, the lead actress, the lead singer is singing loudly. Maybe it's even mic'd and everybody else is just on stage, not necessarily with a microphone strapped to their, inside their costume. So right away, you have to recognize where is the melody. Usually the melody gets something loud, it has to play loudly. Now, with the supporting character, that is really hard. I cannot tell you how difficult it is to play that chord. The reason is, if I'm gonna play it loudly, how easy that is. How easy it is to play a loud sound. Anybody, even the beginner piano students, can play it loud. But if you want to play it such that it just barely as a supporting character so that the melody can sing so beautifully, then that becomes so difficult. Why is it so difficult? It's because this is still a percussion instrument, and there is basically a hammer inside the piano. It's a hammer, and a hammer, it's like goes like this and bam. And if you play it loud, no problem. The hammer will hit it. But if you try to move the hammer slowly so that it will hit it softer, then you run into a problem. You run into the problem that maybe the hammer doesn't strike enough force and there is no sound coming out. So that's good, I got it. You see, as I go softer and softer and softer, more and more piano to try to make that thing to be a super tender, just light support for the melody, for the lead singer, I run into trouble that it doesn't come out. So what are we going to do? You have to develop muscles. So much fine motor control is required to play that chord softly. So that is the reason why you need to have good muscles in your hand. I don't have a lot of upper body muscles here, but I sure have a lot of muscles here. The other thing is, it's also about the musical instrument. Not every single pianoforte is a pianoforte, because there are just some instruments that are not as good at being able to let the pianist pick out a really soft sound. So when I go shop for piano, when somebody asks me, says, "Hey, Wendy, come along and help me buy a piano," I go there. What do I play? Of course, I play big thing, right? I play, just like Tchaikovsky. Oh, sounds very nice. Yeah, we want to hear the sound. How well? What's the resonance? What's the quality? Of course, it all depends on what that store acoustics is. And by the time you bring it back to your home also has its own sound, sound acoustics, and so you might not get the sound that you thought you were buying. at the store, okay? Yourself. But one thing that you can do when you go buy a piano is that you want to test out how good it is at making a soft sound down to the last drop, the last pick, and still be able to give you a sound instead of nothing. All right? So when I go to buy a piano, I will go and I'll go softer and softer, and I'll play that on every single piano in the showroom. Just say which one can actually deliver. And my piano, unfortunately, is not the best. It's okay. It's definitely okay. But I have played on some piano, and I play that, and I just play even this Schumann Träumerei, and I am just like mesmerized. Wow, I can really coax that tiny little bit of such tender little note sound out of the piano. And that is magic. That is magic because that is control. When you go to a concert and it can almost so quiet, and you can just hear, almost I can hear a pin drop, and somebody, either a very, very light violin or some singer, or that voice comes through just a little bit. Oh, that thing is really just moves the soul. Okay, so that's what I want to tell you today. I just want to show you about the meaning of pianoforte and how a lot of sound is on the piano. How piano should it be? It has to be a good pianoforte, a good piano, a great piano has to be able to deliver on the soft sound. All right? So when you go shop for a piano, bring along somebody who can play the piano and ask the person, please just play something really tender, really soft, and let me hear how you sound. Are you able to control? Are you able to control the sound coming out? All right? Anyway, etc., etc. All right, you get my point. Every single note. Playing the piano, you had to really think, how am I going to control my fingers to deliver, to make sure that the melody is well supported, the melody comes so strong, and still everything else comes out. It's just barely supporting. Whenever you see a word that says dolce, dolce in Italian means sweet. Oh, sweet. So Italians love the word dolce, and you see the word dolce over all these classical music things. And whenever you see a dolce, you know the melody, the diva is singing, and everybody else is just taking a very soft supporting role, and they better deliver it, because if they are too loud, then the main melody is then muffled, and you don't have the same impact. Okay, so that's today's thing about pianoforte, and I hope that you can explain to somebody why piano is so important, and why it's so important for a piano to deliver the piano sound, and why it's so important that you as a pianist can actually deliver great piano sound in the notes that you want to have them be piano.